What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Gonna fiddle around with the old OG a little bit more today. It'll be nothing real crazy, but kind of waiting out some rain. I went and bought a let's see, I'm about to order some different fuel line because I'm not happy with that this yellow stuff. The way that pingle leans out away from the gas tank, there's a kink in the fuel line right there, so I need something braided, reinforced. So I caught a suggestion from a friend. I'm going to try that out. But anyway, one of the other projects on my list to do was to replace that broken taillight. Now these are just simple positive and negative little LED red trailer marker lights. So this is a way better design than the other one. As you can see, I did modify my bracket, shortened it quite a bit, and rounded the top to match well, it kind of matches. It's whatever. I could do a little bit better with it, but I just don't care to. Anyway, so I guess I'm going to put some disconnects on this and then on the wiring harness on the bike so that this can be just removed from the bike, because I really don't want to have to solder the stuff. I just don't see the point in it. I used to be quite a advocate for that, but quite honestly, I've had a lot of soldered connections on this bike fail. Namely, beginning of last season, I think it was the second pass I made on the bike, air shifter quit working, and it was where I'd soldered a connection together, it broke apart. That was something that my dad kind of hammered into my brain growing up. Make sure you solder all those connections and heat shrink them, because butt connectors are garbage. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. But maybe I'm just not as good at it as I need to be. That could be it. But we're going to put some those tail lights are Amazon specials, by the way. I think I paid $9.99 for a box slap full of red and yellow ones. So, if you wanted to use a yellow one for a shift light or something, which, whatever. Okay, so this, you guys have seen me talk about this stuff before. These are I don't want to call them Deutz style connectors, but I've used these sporadically on this bike already. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Okay, hopefully you guys can see all this. Basically, I'm going to shorten this up, and I'm going to put a connector on it. So I'm going to clip these wires back, I'd say about there. Put a little strip on them. Don't take much with this. This is really fine wire. It's what you get when you buy that Chinese shit. So, which is most definitely what these lights are. Okay, so this plug takes the small spade style connectors right there. I'm actually going to have to strip this back just a slight bit more to make sure it fits. There we go. There we go. Alright. So we're going to do this in real time so you can see all the struggles that come with fooling with this mess. When you buy these kits, they come with these special crimping tools. And the worst part is every time I do this, I have to relearn have to relearn what I'm doing. Like, put these little booties on before you strip the wire, because you end up peeling half the wire back when you do it. Yeah, almighty. It's easy to forget when you don't do this a lot, but there it is. Do that. Got that little dude on there. Get my wires back up here again. Good Lord. All right. I could probably get away with not using these, because this thing is not in any way, shape, or form designed to operate in adverse weather conditions. So, if it's raining, this bike is in the trailer. Not sitting out in the weather, certainly not getting rode in the rain. So, I'm probably just wasting my time messing with those. Okay, so, these little dudes right here, I don't know. This stuff is an extreme pain in the ass, believe me. You gotta kind of start them a little bit. A little bit of a curve going on there. Can you see that? Okay. So, well, let's put it in the tool first. If I remember right. Let's see, which one am I using? Is it this one? Turn it that way. That is not it. That is. There we go. Alright. The worst part is you got one shot at squeezing this tool, because it does not return. This doesn't lend itself well to people that can't see for shit. And I can't see for shit. So I should have put some glasses on. Alright. Nice through there. You want to get that wire inside that thing. You can't even tell. Don't mention how much I hate these things. Good Lord. Alright, I think that's it. We'll fumble our way through the next one. This isn't even the worst part of this, guys. The worst part of this is trying to put these damn connectors in these little housings. There's no, and somebody else probably knows better than I do. I really don't know. I really don't know. There we go. Okay. Try to get that through there. Yeah. I shake like a dog shitting razor blades too, so that doesn't help. Okay. So, the wire passes through the metal portion. This wraps around the insulator to help hold it in place. Put these damn things back up on here, like so. But now, I get to figure out how to make them fit in this. Remember how they lock in there. They go one way, but not the other. So, just kind of stick it in there, see if it goes. If it locks in and stays in, you went the right direction with it. Which so far I'm looking at with this one. That one I must have to turn it around. There we go. Nope, doesn't want to go that way. Alright, so it goes this way, but it doesn't want to stay locked in. There it is. Okay. There. That's not, well, it's not terrible. But you get the idea. And of course, this thing folds out. There we go. This is such a pain in the ass. Okay. Push that thing down, lock it in, there it is. Okay, there's my taillight assembly. Hope that wasn't too painful. But you got two, can't see them without a flashlight, but there's two pins sticking out there, the male pins. Let's move to the bike. Okay, so this is my existing wiring harness that used to connect to the old one. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to temporarily throw this nut up here just to hold this thing in place so it doesn't flop around on me. That's kind of how I designed this mess. And don't, it'll slide around and go loose, but okay. So it's going to be a bit of a extra bit of wiring here. And I could probably cut this stuff back a little bit. Yeah. It's kind of tied to my brake line, so I think I could shorten this up. I think I'll put that plug, oh, look at there. That's where I originally soldered the wires in. Isn't that interesting? Okay. This time we're going to do it smart, and I'm going to put those little jobbies on there first, right? So I don't have to fight that shit after I strip the wires. There you go. See? I'm starting to remember this stuff already. Alright. You guys can tell me if this is extremely boring. That's fine, I won't get mad. But I want to be able to take this light on and off the bike when I'm servicing it, and I don't particularly care for crimp-on connectors, so we're going to do something just a little different here. Alright, so I'm going to clip these about right here, okay? That leaves me a little bit of wire there. And this is something that a lot of people are just scared to death of wiring. And there's really nothing to be afraid of. This is something my dad taught me many years ago. And DC 12-volt stuff doesn't scare me one bit. I'm not afraid to wire a full race car from scratch. It just doesn't bother me. So now one thing you want to watch is you want to see how these plugs interface, right? So that you keep the positive and the negative together. So I know that the red one has to go on this side of the plug. Now, doing the same thing I was doing earlier. Usually I ruin a few of these things every time I do this just to help remember what I'm doing. But so far today we're doing good. Pretty lucky. All right. And then remembering how to put it in this thing is always a challenge. But so far I'm doing all right. All right. Let's do the red one first. Try to get that wire through there. Yeah, let's see. There we go. I just literally cannot see shit. Alright, there's that. Crimp her down. Make sure she's good. She's good. All right. Get the next one in here. Okay. And like I said, these things are, you can buy these kits on Amazon. They ain't exactly high quality stuff, but I've used them successfully on this bike for a little bit, and so far I got one single strand of wire hanging up there. There we go. Okay, now all right, interface this way. I know the red one needs to go on this side. Pray to God that's gonna lock right in there and not give me any shit. All right. Yep, pulls right back out of there. Okay, try twisting it around, see if it goes in that way and stays locked in. Yeah, it doesn't stay in that way either. All right, well, I don't know, man. I just don't know. I don't know if I'm not on my mouth right, or is there some piece that goes in there? Let's just have a look, see? That ain't it. Got to find a screwdriver. Oh, something little. Push that up in there. I don't know if that's the one. There we go. We found it. We found it. All right. I'll tell you something I didn't do anyway. Let's pull that booty up there. There's that. Okay. Try this again. It looks like, shit, I don't know, man. It looks like this. It has to be that. It has to be that way. It doesn't lock in there. Now, let me see if there's I don't know if you got these little push-in deals or what, but these, well, that don't seem to want to go in there. Try it this way. Wait a minute. What do we got here? Alright, that's the shape. Shit, this might have been a mistake I was making all along with these things. I don't think so, but possibly. Charlie walking at the door there. Oh my God, that thing ain't coming out of there now. You guys believe that shit? That's stupid things you gotta do. I don't know. I might try to find some better connectors or something in the future. I don't know if I care for these too much. Get that little seal tucked in there. There it is. Okay. I gotta find another one of those little deals to push in there. Okay. How's that go? Goes like that. Okay, well, there it is, plugged in. All right, we will cut approximately that much of that off. Get some fucking scissors. There. Cut that off. There we go. Let's see. See if we're making any progress here. There it is. So that'll kind of be out there in the road a little bit, but I'll stay out of the wheel and I can take it off. There's that. Okay. All right, again, here's the kit. You got doubles, you got singles, you got 4s and 3s. It's a mess. Like I said, I've somewhat used it successfully. It's Amazon stuff. I don't particularly care for it. I probably can find something a little bit better at, like, say, I had to buy, actually, I think this Twippo, there you go. That tells you all you need to know. Anyway, I think I bought one at, or I bought this at Amazon, yeah. But I think you could probably find something better at, like, say, Granger or McMaster Carr. You're going to pay for it, obviously. You know, this thing was like $30, and I'm sure, you know, a good one's going to be over 100, but I guess if I pay attention to what I'm doing, they work pretty good. As long as you put them together right, I guess. And there's the petcock situation I was talking about. See how this thing leans, well, this tank in general, the bung is welded in at an angle, I guess for clearance or whatever, but this fuel line will not stop kinking right there, and I can't run it underneath, it won't reach. Unlike the S&S carburetor, the Mikuni fuel inlet's on the side, not the bottom of the bowl. So I'm gonna hopefully, I'll put some braided hose on there and it'll stop it with that kinking it shut right there shit. So even if I put this back on there, the standard Pingle, even if I put that back on there, I still have, I don't know, I may try it and see if it'll work, but it still looks like a huge pain in the ass to me, but is what it is. I don't know. We'll try it out and see what it looks like. Yeah, I think that's even worse. I think no matter what I do, I'm gonna have to put some braided line on it. I got that thing really freaking tight right there. I don't know. And I don't know. That's on, that's off. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I might have to try some different lines, something reinforced. This stuff's just too easy to kink. So there it is. There's the fuel line. Yep, there it is. Black rubber hose for the win. No kinks. I don't know. I guess if it works. I don't really care for what it looks like, but it works. So I got that on there. That's a done deal. All right, so we're gonna end this off with some of the problems I'm running into with simple upgrades. You see we got the petcock deal resolved. I just put some more of this black rubber shit that I'm real fond of back on there. It works. Doesn't look cool, but it works. So we'll take it. The bearings, still working on sourcing those. I don't foresee any problems with those other than just scrounging up the money to pay for them. I'm expecting that to be about at least a $400 investment, maybe more. Sprockets. I got an email from Sprocket Specialist telling me that my back sprocket was finished and it's on the way. It's coming from Utah. You guys have probably heard me talk on the channel before. I've been using Sprocket Specialist for the better part of 25 years. And I like their products. They're good people, good to talk to, they're good to work with. However, everything's custom. They got like blanks, I guess, and they got to cut the patterns to to fit your hub and your bolt pattern and stuff like that. So smart business, to not have a bunch of pre-made stuff for 30-year-old motorcycles and whatnot. So it's a good idea. So every time I order a custom sprocket from them, it usually takes me, by the time they make it and time I get it, it's usually 3 weeks to a month, which I've come to expect that from them, and I know. So it's on the way. Where I run into a problem is with this front sprocket. Now, I told you guys in 1 or 2 videos ago, I take my sprockets to a local electric motor place to get them turned down, thin, because you just basically got to make it thinner from 530 to 520. And they called me yesterday and said he doesn't know he doesn't know what that thing's made out of, but he can't cut it. Even trying to take a 10,000ths pass off of it, he said it's not taking any metal off, it's trying to weld and turn red, so it's an extremely hardened metal. So I'm gonna have to regroup on that, because the reality is I'm gonna have to find somebody with a surface grinder and pay them to grind over 100,000ths of thickness off of the face of that sprocket. God only knows how much that's going to cost. But I think Dave Skaggs is retired or trying to be retired and doesn't want to be bothered because you can't get his contact information anymore. That's D&G chassis, by the way. This is who I used to use back in the day for custom-made sprockets. There's a fella out in Texas, I guess. I haven't had any luck getting a hold of the guy or being able to communicate with him, so I'm not going to get a custom sprocket made. So I guess, yeah, I think I can find a local place that has a precision surface grinder. I'm just gonna have to go that route, because it's, as that guy said, was harder than Superman's kneecaps. It's pretty hard. So, if you got a sprocket from Vulcan Engineering, apparently it's harder than the moon, and you're never gonna wear it out. So congratulations if you own one of those. But yeah, I just have to drop back and punt on that a little bit and get that, overcome that little problem. It's not that big a deal, but it's probably, well, I had to guess it's going to cost me a lot more than just having the metal turned, or faced off, rather, I'm sorry, face that sprocket down. So now I got to take it to another place local that I believe has a surface grinder or the ability. Actually, the right way to do it would be on some kind of a rotary surface grinder, but I don't have any idea where to even look for where one of those might be. But yeah, just chipping away at the little things. I don't really want to lower the bike down because it's kind of in an unstable situation right now with, you can see the blocks and the straps, and I don't want to disrupt the table, because I do have some other stuff I work on. I don't want to stand on a ladder to do it, so I'm kind of at a hold. I do already have the chain and the master link and all that. That stuff came off the silver bike. It had 14 runs on it. It's like a brand new chain. I'll clean it up, juice it up, cut it to the proper length for this bike, because this bike is about 4 inches shorter, wheelbase wise, than the silver bike. So some of that chain will have to get cut off there. No big deal. Again, the wheels are just standing by with no bearings in them, waiting. You know, like I said, I'm in the process of speccing that stuff out, and when I get it, and when I get the specs right, I don't want to buy this stuff twice, because you have to use like all thread nuts, washers, and sockets and stuff to carefully press these bearings into the wheels, because they won't take a side load from you banging on them with anything. That'll break that ceramic. They will not. You just don't, trust me, do not try to hammer ceramic bearings into anything. Don't try to drive them in with any kind of a hammer, because they will crack and break. The best way to do it is with, like I said, a piece of all thread, and the correct on the outer race, not the inner race, on the outer race. So once they're in the wheel, I have no godly idea how to get them back out without breaking them, because they have these axle spacers that goes in between the bearings. You cannot press that bearing back out without putting something in here. This thing moves a little bit, and you can catch it with a piece of, there goes that damn light again. You can catch it with a piece of steel and drive the original bearings out, but you can't do that with those ceramics. So once they're in the wheel, they're in the wheel. Like I said, I so far I'm not smart enough to figure out how to get those out, but you really have to be very careful with those. As far as my like sprocket carrier, again, this was silver. I cleaned it up, painted it black, just, you know, that. But that bearing that sets in right here, I can press it in with my shop press, because I have seal driver mandrels and all that other stuff that'll get to the outside of that race. Press that bearing in, but when you go to get it out, you're only going to be able to get a hold of the inner race. So maybe this one I could press back out if I was really careful, but if you go whacking, that shock is going to break those ceramic bearings. So this is something to be conscious of. Now, those bearings will last, as long as you take care of them, they'll last forever. They are extremely high quality parts. So as long as you take care of them, you shouldn't have to worry about taking them back out. Me, at my age, I think once I get a set in, they're probably going to last me my lifetime. So I think that's really all we got. Some of the other things I want to do, again, I want to move the shift light. I may relocate the, I really would like to get a fiberglass replica of an XB fairing and take that ABS shit off of there. But yeah, there's a bolt missing on top of that, a zip tie. I wanted to brace that up a little bit better anyway. I got some work to do on the fairing and the shift light, but again, I'll get that when I get it down, lowered down, after I get the wheels back on it and the chain and everything. So thanks for listening to me ramble. I appreciate it, guys. This video is kind of like a day in the life of me trying to get shit done on this thing. So hope it wasn't too terrible. I do appreciate you guys for watching. As always, thank you. And if you haven't, please consider subscribing. Have a good one.